It's episode 2 of A Father in the Shadows, and the years have rolled on, pulling Marcus from the innocence of childhood into the restless days of adolescence. He grew taller, his voice deepened, and the world around him seemed to expand with possibilities. But along with this growth came questions that lingered in the silence between him and his mother, questions that settled heavily in the spaces where his father should have been. At first, the questions were simple. Why wasn't his father around? What kind of man had left him behind? But as Marcus grew older, the questions became sharper, more insistent. He wondered who his father was, where he might be, and if he ever thought of the boy he'd left to grow up alone. Every now and then, Marcus would look his mother in the eyes, hoping, just hoping she might offer him a piece of the truth. But the answers never came. It was a dance, this silence between mother and son, a delicate, unspoken agreement. Marcus learned not to ask, and his mother learned not to answer. The mystery of his father became a wound that he covered with achievements, a gap he filled with trophies, certificates, and friends. To everyone else, Marcus seemed to have it all, but inside, he carried a restlessness, a hunger for answers that no amount of success could satisfy. Sometimes, when the noise of the world faded, Marcus felt something else. He felt like he was being watched, like someone's eyes were following him, observing his every step. He couldn't explain it, and he tried to ignore it, but it lingered, hovering in the background like a shadow. Little did Marcus know, he wasn't wrong. For years, someone had indeed been watching him. A man who once held him as a baby, whispered promises he could never keep, and made choices he now regretted. This man, Marcus's father, lived in the shadows of Marcus's life, never close enough to be seen, yet never truly gone. He watched Marcus from afar, sending money, gifts, and support, tokens of a presence he could never provide. For Marcus's father, this distant support was his way of showing love. Every dollar sent, every gift delivered, every tuition payment. They were pieces of a bridge he hoped might someday lead him back to his son, and yet even he knew it wasn't enough. He could see the accomplishments, the milestones, but he couldn't share in the joy of it all. Instead, he remained on the outside, a mere spectator to a life that was partly his own. And so the father and son were bound together by an invisible thread, yet separated by a chasm of silence. Marcus's ambition intensified, fueled by a drive he couldn't fully understand, a need to prove himself not just to the world, but perhaps to a man he barely remembered. In the quiet corners of stadiums, in the back rows of auditoriums, Marcus's father watched him, clinging to the only connection he had left. He saw the boy's triumphs, his struggles, his quiet moments of doubt. And though he wanted to step forward to close the distance, fear held him back, the fear of rejection, the fear that Marcus would never forgive him for his past. So they went on, each in their separate worlds. Marcus grew stronger, more determined, but also more haunted by the shadow that had shaped his life. And his father, he continued to wait, hoping that one day he would have the courage to step out of the darkness and into the light of the life he left behind. But time is a relentless force, and life rarely waits for regrets to fade. Both father and son were on a collision course, drawn together by the very mystery that separated them. Little did they know the choices they made today would shape the future in ways neither could imagine.